Before we start, a quick disclaimer. I own gold and silver in my investment portfolio. This is not financial advice. If you decide to trade your life savings for silver coins and bury them in your backyard, well, that's between you and your shovel. Gold and silver, two metals that have survived economic collapses, inflation, and every questionable decision governments have ever made. Lately, their prices have been surging. Why? Inflation, Trump's tariffs, or maybe just general economic panic. Let's break it down. Before gold gets so expensive that people start using it instead of engagement rings. Gold and silver have been used as money for over 5,000 years. That's longer than any modern currency, longer than most governments, and significantly longer than your gym membership lasted this year. Gold has always been a store of value. Silver, too, though it tends to get overshadowed, kind of like how everyone remembers Batman, but no one really remembers Robin. Gold and silver prices are up. Some say it's inflation. Others say it's global instability. But the main reason, markets don't like uncertainty. And when markets don't like something, they react the same way people do when they see a spider: panic, run, and throw money at the problem. And speaking of uncertainty, Trump has a habit of making major economic announcements on Fridays after the markets close. This gives investors the entire weekend to spiral into existential dread before markets open on Monday. It's basically the financial equivalent of sending someone the text that says, "We need to talk," and then turning off your phone. And it's not just private investors buying gold. Central banks are making moves too. Recently, the Bank of England saw a wave of gold withdrawals. Why? Because gold prices in London have been trading lower than in New York. Imagine you bought a Rolex in one country for $10,000, but in another country that same Rolex is worth $12,000. Now, you're going to move that watch. Replace Rolex with billions of dollars in gold bars, and you get the idea. This led to a run on gold reserves as investors and central banks move their gold from London to New York, because apparently even gold is trying to relocate for better job opportunities. And speaking of moving gold, several countries, China, Russia, Germany, Poland, have been pulling their reserves out of the Bank of England. Why? Because in times of uncertainty, it turns out nations don't love the idea of storing their most valuable asset in someone else's basement. And there's another angle: tariffs. If trade wars escalate, foreign held gold reserves could become bargaining chips. Keeping gold at home ensures that no matter what happens, at least something in their economy is still under their control. Uncertainty affects everything: business plan for investments, hiring, expansion, and taxes. But when the future is unclear, how do they plan? Simply, they don't. They do nothing. And doing nothing, well, that's bad for business. It's bad for hiring, it's bad for the economy, and it's great for stress headaches, though. If a company doesn't know what tariffs will look like in 6 months, why build a new factory? If tax policy is unpredictable, why hire new employees? Instead, businesses just sit on their hands because doing nothing is still safer than making a bad decision. It's like sitting on a three-legged stool in the living room of a house of cards in a wind tunnel. Some analysts believe this gold run has at least 2 to 4 years left, depending on fiscal policy under the Trump administration and the labor market. Others think it could end sooner. But the one thing they all agree on: they want to sound as confident as possible while making predictions about something they can't actually predict. Gold moves in cycles. It goes up, it goes down, just like the stock market, real estate, and your commitment to finally eating better. Want to invest in gold, but don't want to deal with safes, storage, or explaining to your friends why you suddenly own a bunch of gold bars? Try an ETF. ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund. It's basically a stock that tracks the price of gold or silver. You can buy it and sell it like any other stock, and you don't have to worry about burglars or needing a secret vault. You don't actually own the metal though. So if your plan was to melt it down and make a medieval style armor, you might need to rethink your investment strategy. Gold and silver have been around forever, and right now, they're back in the spotlight. Prices are rising, central banks are stacking up, and countries are pulling their gold out of London like it's the last lifeboat on the Titanic. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit it anyway, because the YouTube algorithm is watching. Subscribe to Solido and let us know in the comments, where do you think gold and silver are headed next? Boom, bust, or just another Monday morning panic from Trump?